श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय जय राम ओम।
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री
Ram, Jai Ram. Hari Om. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Ah. Today let us see how Papa talks to us through Godavari Maharaj. To do nothing, not to feel that you are doing something or have something to do is real spirituality. To do nothing, not to feel that you are doing something or have something to do is real spirituality. That means the sense of agency is not there. That is important. It has become a habit with us to be doing something physically and mentally. To sit inactively is difficult. To keep the mind inactive is more difficult. And to keep the mind detached while keeping the body busy in action is most difficult. Really speaking, the mind seeks equanimity, but it can only be acquired by dint of strenuous effort. Mental equilibrium is upset by one of the three causes: a happening contrary to one's desire, recollection of the past, anxiety for the future. As for the first of these, when we consider that everyone in the world wants things to shape after his heart, how can we expect that they take place only after our heart? Things are bound to go against our desires. So to preserve our mental composure, we should train ourselves to efface all desires. So to preserve our mental composure, we should train ourselves to efface all desire, not wish for a particular thing to happen, give up greed and expectation, ascribe everything to Rama. Such ascription is equivalent to living in constant awareness of God. How deep our ego has percolated into our thought. How casually we connive at even obvious facts when it suits us to do so. When a man's son goes astray, he blames some other person for enticing or misleading him. He does not want to blame his own son. If a man's son gets spoilt under his own nose, we can imagine the tremendous influence of association. How then can we explain why we remain unaffected by the company of saints? The plain obvious reason is that we do not at all attempt to improve ourselves. Not that we do not understand what is good for us, but we lack the urge to improve ourselves. Therefore, born as we are in desire, we also die in desire. The only dependable means to extricate ourselves from the clutches of desire is to make amends to the Lord in utter surrender. Pray to Rama that now you have no other recourse but him, that you will be content to live as he pleases to keep you, and that you desire nothing but love for him, and ever maintain his name on your lips. Be sure he will not fail to shower his bountiful grace on you. Endeavor to improve yourself. Our mind keeps on telling, that whatever is needed we are doing, whatever is right we are doing. Even in sadhana we feel this is what is to be done, so I am doing it. Satsang definitely helps us to evaluate our position. We surmise, which is not been written in black and white, but when Papa was, as Vittal Rao was prompted to go through the Yoga Vasishta, Because Yoga Vasishtha, the first portion, deals with the transitoriness of the world. According to Chandrasekhar Rao, put in his own words, in the Passage of Divinity book, the books that he read, which includes Yoga Vasishtha, it was not a usual reading. They were able to feel that Papa was intensely going through that, trying to absorb, trying to assimilate as much as we can. Endeavor to improve yourself, that is the topic today. Papa wants us to think. So we get some guidance from that. Whenever we go through the teachings of Mahatmas, we apply our mind intensely on it and then try. Periodical, some strict austerities also will help. Though not in the way in which Papa did in his early 38s year. Something like that. Somewhere we have to withdraw ourselves. In Quest of God, first chapter ends with that. Especially when now Papa has prompted us to have an in-depth study of In Quest of God. The first chapter ends that he was slowly receding from the relatives and possessions. The me and mine was slowly receding. So that sort of mind we don't have. But some, just like Swami Ranganath Maharaj says, 5% yogi, 10% yogi, like that, we can try in our own way. Some withdrawal. Serious sadhakas have to withdraw. Because the things that distract our attention, they are more now compared to Papa's period. The mobile that is with us, though it is helpful in all respects, in many respects, it is also a hindrance. So we have to draw the Lakshman Rekha, somewhere. It is useful, no doubt about it. So many things Google Baba now answers. Even when suppose we have to refer to Bhagavad Gita, which chapter, you just touch Upanishads, Vivek Chudamani, words of Mahatmas, everything is available in Google Baba. But that doesn't mean that it will help us in our inward journey. It's only to stuff our brain with some ideas. The intellectual assimilation, absorption, that can take place only when we are away from all these gadgets. One after another, it will link us. So the best way would be a particular time, we will not. On a particular day in a week or in a particular day in a month or 15 days, I will not. I will deny myself and watch myself, whether I can stand it. The mind will keep on giving so many explanations. A stage should come when, even when we go through, we should remain unaffected. But to reach that stage, something should be done, Intense namasmarana is possible only when we bring all these dimensions into our heart. Mainly the dimension is reduction of me and mine. In the second chapter itself, In Quest of God, Papa makes it very clear for all of us. He prayed to the Lord seated within. No? He did not ask anybody, he did not seek any advice from anybody, but he was praying, remove the I-ness from me. No? Second chapter. So our attempt should be there. No? So we can define what are the things that bind me to this I-ness. It is very, very clear in that. Though in the first chapter the preparation has been done, actually the what do you call the diagnosis and the method to treat, that comes out in the second chapter. And he was not seeking it from outside. So that means we have to go within, If we have to go within, we should remain undisturbed. With all our preoccupations, how can we go inside? To have a dialogue with him. The second chapter starts with that dialogue. Yes,
Yes.
one question. Not here, don't worry then. Don't worry. So it was an inner dialogue. Inner dialogue means total absorption is necessary. Na? We remain totally undisturbed. So in our room or in our place, we try. We stop everything. Even under the banner of spirituality, whatever we are doing, we are stopping. We will have this even if it's for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we will try to have a dialogue with him. The tangible gain is when we get this, we succeed in developing this dialogue with him. There is a tangible, explicit, an explicit acceptance that he is there in our heart. Otherwise, how can you talk to him? So that is the tangible gain. When we develop this inner dialogue, the tangible gain is indirectly we accept that he is there, the truth. And in that he places before the indwelling reality. Second chapter. The first chapter ends, he says, while desires for enjoyment of worldly things were fast falling off, consideration of me and mine was also wearing out. The sense of possession and relationship was vanishing. Just to read out this again and again and evaluate. Mentally are we in a position to do it? All thought, all mind, all heart, all soul was concentrated on Ram covering up, absorbing everything. That is how this first chapter ends. The second chapter begins. Now from the narrow pond of a worldly life, Ram had lifted up his slave to throw him into the extensive ocean of universal life. Concept is slowly maturing, graduating from the individual to the universal. So when the me and mine was getting more and more intense, the signs are that we try to think in terms of me to we to him. But to swim in the wide ocean, Ram knew Ramdas wanted strength and courage, for gaining which Ram intended to make his ignorant and untrained slave to pass through a course of severe discipline. We have to apply our mind on this. Severe discipline. And Brahma. Normally, when we take to some rows, brothers, unknowingly we are conditioning ourselves. But in order to get over that also, Papa was prompted, to write like this, to pass through a course of severe discipline, and this under his direct guidance and support. There was no intermediary. So we have to find some time, to have this. Absolutely under direct means there is no intermediary. He was relying purely on the indwelling reality. So 2 points, one is severe discipline, the other one is directly under him. So one night, while engaged in drinking in the sweetness of his name, Ramdas was made to think in the following strain. O Ram, the dialogue, inner dialogue. O Ram, when thy slave finds thee at once so powerful, so loving, and that he who trusts thee can be sure of true peace and happiness, why should he not throw himself entirely on thy mercy, which can only be possible by throwing up everything he called mine? God made him to think on these times, then only he took the plunge of leaving everything. See how the background has been beautifully created. First, from first the concept has come. The me and mine was getting reduced. Then not thinking of individual, but of the universal. Expanding. Then the severe discipline concept. And these two under the direct guidance, no intermediary. And then an inner dialogue. And that inner dialogue, the resolve becomes very, very clear. The diagnosis has been made. Me and mine is the biggest factor in all of us that is blocking our progress towards him. Why should he not throw himself entirely on thy mercy, which can be possible only by giving up everything he called mine? Thou art all in all to thy slave. Thou art the sole protector in the world. Men are deluded when they declare, I do this, I do that, this is mine, that is mine. All, O Ram, is thine. All things are done by thee alone. Thy slave's one prayer to thee is to take him under thy complete guidance and remove his highness. So when he has prompted us to take up an in-depth study of In Quest of God during the Sannyas centenary Swadhyay period, we are praying to him, give us more and more intensity, to first understand your every word that you have written, not the literal meaning, but the unwritten meaning, between the lines, the theme. It is conveyed through ordinary words, but it's a sublime, profound, most vital aspects in the spiritual journey. Then later on, he wanted whether he is thinking whether his mind is on the right path. Then he sought guidance from Light of Asia, New Testament, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, all those things, just to authenticate, whether this is thinking, whether it is coming from a pakka individuality, not a kacha individuality, not out of any impulse or instinct or whatever. But it is a thought coming directly from him. So it has to be authenticated. So these are the 3-4 lines which when we are endeavor to improve yourself, that is the title today. So he has given us clues from his own life. So how it can be actualized in our present day world, with all our limitations. Age, health, so many things are there, which is not completely cooperating with us. So within that limitation, how best we can do? One thing that comes to our mind is that we must find some time every day or once in a week or once in 15 days to begin with. When we are receding from our routine work, we should also know how to make use of that day. It may not be possible to throughout engaging the mind in Namasmarana, so as much as possible. We will have some restriction in our food, our living style, simple living style. We will avoid this one, like that. Some self-denial. Severe discipline we may not be able to, but some discipline we need, we need. Some discipline which can be done on our routine life. Our mind might be telling that we have this discipline, that discipline. No. Our routine life is there. From there to withdraw ourselves. Suppose we say 2 hours or 3 hours we would like to withdraw. How do we make use of the 3 hours? That we should be clear. Otherwise the purpose will not be served. Probably that is why this Purasharana concept came. We don't know. That so much malas we will do, At least that motivating factor will be there. This much a portion from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This much a portion from our Guru's text. Something, and we will also, yesterday we saw, Yajna, Dana, Tapas. Not that we should exclusively sit in a room and do it. We try to dwell on somehow to bring in this dimension in our heart, individual to universal. When we intensely pray, He will bring about the circumstances in such a way that we are placed in such a situation or in. Nobody will disturb us. So at that time we were talking about the mobile also. No? We will switch off the mobile. Not that we are belittling the importance of mobile in our life. Only for the sake of ensuring that some time is set apart exclusively for this spiritual journey. Because we are yet to get a grip on it, Once we have got a grip, no matter where we are, it does not matter at all. But since we have not felt that we have got a grip on it, some discipline is necessary, some withdrawal is necessary, some change in our lifestyle is necessary. Some prescribed activities are necessary. So, as Papa Mataji used to say, we can divide this Nam Seva Dhyan also during the period. There will be some time for Nama, some time for Dhyana, some time for Seva. Seva, we need not get in touch with anybody. That's how Seva we did not mean. Any other Seva. Silently we are doing it. Just for the sake of Seva. Every day yesterday we were talking about bodily labor, that can be treated as Seva. And the ambience will be very nice here. So those who are here, those who have come here for short stay even, apart from attending our usual routine, some time can be set apart for this, individual sadhana. The other one is collective sadhana. Collective sadhana, only one can know whether it has got any deep impact. It may have, it may not have. Impact I am telling, not that we are not enjoying it. We are telling about the impact it leaves. That means even after the session is over, whether it remains with us. Immediately after the program, whatever we have derived, it gets cut off, Think about it. So these are all the clues Papa is giving us through the first and second chapter of In Quest of God.
She's giving me shade.
To keep the mind active, to keep the mind inactive is more difficult. To keep the mind detached while keeping the mind while keeping the body busy in action is most difficult. Really speaking, the mind seeks equanimity, but it can only be acquired by dint of strenuous effort. Strenuous effort means, self-denial, changing our lifestyle, imposing certain things on ourselves. Everything is right, nothing is wrong, but still, until we reach that stage, we have to impose certain rights and wrongs and do's and don'ts. Normally, when the body is adored, body is worshipped by the devotee, the risk is there, If we are not well stabilized in it, we come down to the body level, the individual level again. But when we have crossed over that, it doesn't matter. Until such time, we have to ensure. In what way we should ensure? He will guide us. This is to take him under thy complete guidance and remove the I-ness. So even during that period, which we have set apart every 15 days, every week, every day, some hours in every day, or some hours in every week, whichever is okay, to begin with. We should be very clear that here is an attempt. God has prompted us to reduce the dominance of me and mine, so that the sense of individuality gets connected to the cosmic soul, universality. So we devise our own method, suiting to our taste, temperament, limitations. But this is a must. We should try, he says, so to preserve our mental composure, we should train ourselves to efface our desires, not wish for a particular thing to happen, give up greed and expectation, ascribe everything to God, Rama. How deep our ego has percolated into our thought. How casually we connive at even obvious facts that when it suits us to do so. When a man's son goes astray, he blames some other person for enticing or misleading him. He does not want to blame his own son. If a man's son gets spoilt under his own nose, we can imagine the tremendous influence of association. How then can we explain why we remain unaffected by the company of saintly people? We are closely associating with saints, mentally. That means closely associating with their lives. But we don't get to the inspiration. How am I to lead such a life? Of course, such a life is not possible. Something similar to that. That is why probably he wanted all of us to do an in-depth study of Inquest of God through this year. Everything is there. We don't have to read any other text. Evaluate, evaluate, evaluate. So the end of first chapter and the second chapter beginning gives us the complete picture how to improve ourselves. Not that we do not understand what is good for us, but we lack the urge to improve ourselves. Therefore, born as we are in desire, we also die in desire. The only dependable means to extricate ourselves from the clutches of desire is to make amendments to the Lord, in utter surrender. Pray to Rama that you have no other recourse but him, and that you will be content to live as he pleases to keep you, and that you desire nothing but love for him, and ever maintain his name on your lips. Be sure that he will not fail to shower his bountiful grace on you. So this is the assurance they give. You might be knowing about something about Yogandavarikar Maharaj. Before we close, probably for the sake of people who may not know, we would say that. He was a great, he was also, Saguna Aradhaka, Nirguna also. But there is a temple in Godavari dedicated to Lord Rama. So for some reason he decided to leave. The day was fixed. When we went to Godavari, we were told, you remember? And then next day, priests for everybody, they saw from the stone idol, tears were coming. So when checked up, intuitively it was felt that Lord doesn't want him to go. Such was the relationship between him and the Lord. The all-pervading reality who keeps in touch with him through a form, the relationship has grown that much,